Good afternoon, or in my case, good morning. But you guys all know I work night shift. This is Scott with NEPAStormaChasers. I can see that it's a little bit bright behind me. Sorry about that. So let's hop right into the radar right now as we're looking at it. And it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day. No more snow showers. Everything else has pretty much dried out. And this is the best day of the week, because the temperatures are going to be in the 40s today, but you're going to see a gradual decline and lower temperatures for the rest of the week, and it's going to be windy every day. I'd love to tell you guys that there's a more interesting forecast, but there just isn't. I know some of our patrons are probably bummed that we haven't been sending a whole lot of messages lately, but there's just nothing to talk about right now. This is an absolutely boring weather pattern where you're not going to see a storm or even the hint of a storm for a long time as it looks right now. I'll take a look at the models, and if you're sick of the snow, I mean, if you're done with winter and you're ready for spring to begin, then you're probably loving this right now, because it was a wild winter in general. And it's been a really wild month overall. February was crazy this year. However, it looks like that's coming to an end, and this pattern is going to be with us for quite some time now. I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet talking about, oh, big March storms coming. Guys, keep this in mind, and I've been telling you this for a long time. There's only been 4 major March storms in the last 30 years. And there's only been 2 major March storms that fell after the middle of the month. So keep that in mind. Don't expect it. That's all I can tell you. Don't expect something big to happen here, because the odds are you'll be very disappointed. I'm not gonna ring the bell officially to say winter is over, but I think winter is over. I don't think we're going to see anything significant from here on in. I do think there is a chance something will slip in and we'll see another snow accumulation or two. It'll be on the light side, 1 to 3 inches or less, but I do not see anything bigger than that, and I'm not even sure if I see that. But you always want to hold on to the idea that you might get, a final nightcap, because it always seems to happen every year. But the pattern change has occurred right at the end of the season, which in a lot of ways, if you're a snow lover, I mean, you're probably happy at least. At least you got your solid month or two of good winter. You get 2 big snowstorms, so you should be very happy if you're a snow lover. And if you're a spring lover, well, I got some good news for you. So let's go into the model here. And actually, I'd like to get my pen up here if I can. So let me get my pen up here. There we go. All right. So I can show you guys a little bit. All right. So we're going to get into the model here. This is Wednesday. So this is today. And as we move ahead, this is that storm down to the south that I had spoke of, the possibility of a storm that we had a couple days ago. And there it is, right where it was modeled. It just never came north. Like I said, it was always a possibility, but there was nothing. There's only a couple models and a couple times that showed anything like that. Everything else took it off to the west. And the biggest reason for that is the upper air pattern right now, the general flow of the atmosphere right now. Everything is moving progressively right now. Everything is moving across the country in this general direction here. So there's nothing blocking up to the north. There's nothing pushing a trough up the coast. There's no major ridging in the west that would cause a deep trough. None of those things that you need to have in place right now are occurring. Basically, what you're seeing now is areas of high pressure all throughout the country here. Everything, the entire country except for this low down here, little low off the coast here. Everything, the pressures are higher than average. And that's the way it's going to be for a while now. If you take a look, we'll scroll through here. So we'll go. This is Thursday. The storm, meanders offshore. Nothing going on. High pressure still in control. High pressure remains in control Friday. Little storm starts to come into the Pacific Northwest on Friday. But as you can see, even that's being suppressed. Not much going on. High pressure back in control. The temperatures are going to start to crash a little bit again here as you get that clockwise flow around the high pressure. So Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be chillier than you're going to like it to be. But for the next several days, that's how it's going to be. You're still looking at some cold highs in place here, higher than normal pressure. And just nothing changing. This high begins to move offshore, so moving into next week, you're going to start to see a return flow from the south here, so temperatures will warm up and temperatures will moderate just a bit. So for the next several days, temperatures are going to be below normal. Just keep that in mind. Chillier than normal temperatures, windier than normal temperatures for the next several days, but no snow opportunities. You got a fairly big storm here in the plains that's going to wind up, and then this is going to move on in this direction, but it's going to be, a long way away from us. There's no chance that anything here, as this storm is just nowhere near us. See, we're not even close, and that storm moves out. Pretty nice little storm there. And then we're getting close to the end of the the model run here. We're up to 234 hour two. That's hour 234, which takes you into the 13th. Another storm here. This one looks to be, according to the models, which are a long way away, a cutter. So if that turns out to be a cutter, then we won't see anything from that one either. Just a little frontal system that comes by. And then the next possibility is another cutter. And there is something showing up here. This is on the 8th or the 17th here. Something showing up here along the coast. It looks too warm to be anything important, but these are those little opportunities that I'm talking about. A few little chances here. A few little possibilities that maybe something will develop. Maybe something will surprise us. So, for example, if this little storm here that they're showing here on the 18th, say something like this does happen and it's down here instead, you might get some snow back here. Nothing major, but you could get something. If we go back to this cutter, well, there's a series of cutters here. If either of these cutters, instead of cutting into the lakes, flatten out and move to this general direction, then maybe you'll see some snow in one of those storms. But as of right now, I wouldn't bank on either of this happening. I don't think it looks very good. I think you're going to have a very tranquil weather pattern for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we'll jump ahead here. So this is the upper air, if you guys are interested. Upper air right now, this is what we're looking at high up in the atmosphere. This gives you an indication of what's going to occur at the surface based on what you see going on in the higher atmosphere. Now, what I want you to focus on is two big things. The first thing I want you to focus in on is, what color do I want? How about this? Let's see. This big red blob up here. That's the first thing I want you to focus on. This big red blob is obviously areas of higher pressure. And what's going to happen is it's going to settle into the Gulf of Alaska, just off the coast of Canada here. And that blob is going to be present. So this general area, you're going to have a big blob present over the next several weeks. And what that's going to do is that's going to force a trough to dig down into the west and then ridging out to the east. Why is that a problem? Well, that's a problem for us. It's not a problem, but what does that mean for us? I should say that means you're going to see warmer than average air just spilling into the area once we get past the next 4 or 5 days. And you're going to see this pattern last for a while. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So as we scroll ahead here, notice I didn't move my marks. My marks are in the same place. And continuously, they just keep filling back in. This warm blob just keeps replenishing itself. Those troughs just keep digging. And we are locked in to this pattern from the southwest, just Warm weather, warm weather, warm weather. This trough here digs a little bit deeper. This is on the 14th. So we're going to have to see what this decides to do here. So this one's showing to be a lot deeper than the last several. And if that somehow stays as deep as it looks here and moves in this direction instead of lifting up off to the north like it's showing here, that could be something. This trough kind of navigates around the outside. And again, though, you're just seeing the same exact pattern here. I'm seeing no break in it, no change. There's one opportunity according to, if you follow this here, but I don't think it's going to be really an opportunity, and I'll show you why. Towards the end of the period here, you will notice this, I'll show you here, this trough here. And it looks like this is going to be over our area. You have troughing here. Could there be a storm there? There could be. Do I think there will be? I don't. I think the problem is, in order for this to be a storm, an actual, something that would create a real storm, you're going to need to see a trough digging farther south and sharper north. Something more like that. The way this is set up now, it's not deep enough, for one. We're not digging deep enough here. And I don't see anything that would steer a coastal low up the coast, which is what you would need to have happen. So in order for something to happen, we're going to need a high pressure. And there is higher pressures here. There's a slight ridge, not nearly enough. You'll need a high pressure over this area to block this. And that's the big theme that you're going to see here. I'll scroll all the way back here just to give you guys a look again. But there is very little in the way of blocking. What blocking looks like, if you're unaware of what blocking is, this is when, so in this general area here, we'll go Nova Scotia to Greenland. So when you see this area up to the north here, and this could be further south, but you'll see big blocking highs. And what they do is they basically choke the channel that would allow storms to escape off to the south, and they force the storms to slow down before they move on out. It basically blocks the road and doesn't allow a storm to escape. So keep an eye on this area here. Do you see anything that indicates higher pressure? You have a low here, a low there. Now this is blocking, but is way to the north here in central Greenland. And with the low pressure to the south of it, this won't do anything to help us out whatsoever. Lower pressures, continued lower pressures. This low just sits there and spins. Nothing here to block the, now right here you have a little bit higher than normal pressure, but also ridging here. No storm, no storm signal. Guys, this is my indications that winter's over. This is what's telling me. This is not a winter pattern at all. We are not in a wintertime pattern whatsoever. There's just too much ridging. There's too much southern flow of air here. Everything is indicating to me that this pattern is not going to be changing anytime soon. There's no stratospheric warming events that we can see. You're late in the season. You're looking at the 3rd already. So, and this is the 19th on this image in particular. Guys, I'm not seeing it. Just not seeing it. I don't think we're gonna have much opportunity now. I want to show you this. Let's see if this is ready now. They don't have the 6 to 10 day, but let's go out 8 to 14 days. So we're going to go out from the 10th to the 16th, and this is from the Climate Prediction Center, and this is their temperature outlook. So if you come down here, this orange reddish color here, if you follow the colors here, so this orange is 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So 60 to 70% chance of our area being above normal temperatures. That's the same color. Above normal temperatures, getting out here into the middle of the month, where the only opportunity that I'm seeing that we even have a chance for a storm. Guess what? If your temperatures are going to be, above normal, and we're talking normal temperatures for middle of March are going to be, you're talking probably about 45 to 50, depending on where you're at. That's going to make very, very unlikely, because you're going to probably see temperatures that are at or above these temperatures. Once you get out to day 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of March. So guys, I don't know what to tell you, snow lovers. But it looks like a spring pattern has begun. And with that idea in mind here, let's start talking about some severe weather. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see some severe weather, but let's talk about some Pennsylvania severe weather. So this map, this is by weather.gov, by the way, shows you flooding by county to give you guys an idea where you're most likely to have flooding. And it's honestly evenly distributed pretty much throughout the state. If you notice, there really is. The only area that I can point out that suffers from more flooding than anywhere else is the northern corner or northwestern corner and the southeastern corner of the state. And here's an obvious one. If anyone knows the area near Pittsburgh, Johnstown, out this area, that'd be another area of extreme flooding. Everywhere else, you get floods every so often. This is since 1950, by the way. So 1950 to 2004, these are the areas most likely to get flooding. Let's scroll down to look at a little more severe weather here. How about severe thunderstorms? Oh, sorry, guys. I keep forgetting to change my pointer. So this is where you're likely to see severe thunderstorms by county. And take a look at your county, see where you line up. Tell you right now, the majority of the severe thunderstorms you normally see come out in the western. Oh man, it's really thick. Oops. Come out in the western counties here. Actually, I can go even. This would be the majority of your severe thunderstorms. And this is just due to proximity closer to the plains, honestly. You're going to have, usually in the summer, you're going to have just more instability in the atmosphere farther west as you head out into these counties here. So this is where your best chance is. It's also flatter. This is your best chance of severe thunderstorms out to the west. However, they can happen anywhere at any time. So just keep that in mind. But so from 1950 to 2004, this is where the severe thunderstorms happened. These are the counties that were affected. And while we're at it, look at tornadoes, because it is something that we worry about here in Pennsylvania, because on an average year we see 16 tornadoes in the state of Pennsylvania. And we will cover every single one of them this year. I can promise you all that. Anytime there's an opportunity for a tornado, we'll be there. And we'll be covering it, if not chasing it, depending on where the location is. And again, what you'll notice, the vast majority of tornadoes that occur in Pennsylvania occur in this half of the state. However, you're starting to see something that I've been noticing recently. Increasingly higher probability of tornadoes in the southern counties here, southeastern Pennsylvania. And I've been noticing this over the last, I'm going to say 10 years or so. And then also, you're starting to see more tornadoes over this general area than I can ever recall seeing whenever I was younger. So just some hot spot areas to keep an eye on for this upcoming season. But as I said, we'll be there for any of these events, anything like this that might occur, we'll be there. So severe hailstorms or windstorm events in Pennsylvania, the average time that these occur on this chart here, this shows right here, this is between, that is so thick, I keep doing that. I don't know why it defaults to that setting. So between 4 and 5 p.m. is the number one time here, followed by 3 to 4 and 5 to 6. So those are the time frames that you're most likely to get severe wind and hail in Pennsylvania. Yeah, guys, we're filling some time here because there's nothing else to talk about right now, honestly. And your tornado likelihood is the same time frame. So 4 to 5 o'clock, 3 to 4 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock. That's when you're likely to get a tornado in Pennsylvania. Very, 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 very rare to see a tornado from midnight in Pennsylvania till 9 a.m. It just doesn't get warm enough by then for enough instability in the atmosphere. Extremely rare. And why not? Let's take a look at the months that you're most likely to see a tornado in Pennsylvania, because it's something to talk about. Why not? So January, not really. February, not really. March, on average, or not on average, but March, in historically speaking, we have seen 4 EF0s, 12 EF1s, 4 EF2s, and 2 EF3s. So that comes out to, what, 20-ish? 22. 22 tornadoes in the month of March. So 22, that's actually horribly written. Let's try that again. So March 22. So guys, and this is based on 1950 to 2019. So over that 70 years. So about a 1 in 3 chance you'll see a tornado on any given year in March in Pennsylvania. And then as you can see, these numbers go up exponentially. It's April, May, June, and peaking out in July. Your best chance to see a tornado in Pennsylvania. So guys, that's all I got for you today. Not a lot of stuff going on. So enjoy the warm weather today and windy for the next several days.